Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial, and today I am a kid in a candy store. Man, this has been a fantastic year for the museum, for our acquisitions, and every time a new one rolls through the door, we ask ourselves, how do we one-up getting an RPV drone or an original Battleship 1911? Well, the answer is to put on display what has been referred to as the holy grail of Navy artifacts. This is the actual nameplate cut off of the stern of USS Enterprise CV-6, the most decorated warship of World War II. Enterprise was commissioned shortly before the war. She serves throughout World War II, earning 20 battle stars, oftentimes as the only active carrier in the Pacific holding the line. And unfortunately, she's surplus after the war. As a pre-war ship, she just wasn't big enough to operate late war aircraft and post-war aircraft. We had so many really great Essex-class carriers that were larger, that were newer, that had taken less of a beating than her. And so pretty immediately post-war, she goes into mothballs. She is held in mothballs for about a decade and a half, and in 1958, she's finally sold for scrap. Now, there was a major effort at that time to get her saved as a museum ship. But the effort failed. Museum ships were a fairly new concept, and they just couldn't get enough support to save this ship. And so she was sold for scrap and cut up, and that's where her story should have ended. However, one of the gentlemen doing the scrapping was named Henry Hoffman, and he comes from the town of Rivervale, New Jersey, which is in the extreme north part of New Jersey. It's a couple hours away from Camden, where the battleship is. It's actually closer to New York City. And he salvaged the nameplate off of the back of the ship. He realized that it was a really important object, and on his own managed to cut this out and acquire it. It's about ½ inch thick, high tensile steel. Probably had a scrap value in 1959 for this 800 pounds of about $10. And he was able to get this. He took it back to his hometown, and he thought, wow, this is a much more important artifact than is worthy of me having in my basement or my garage. So he worked with his town of Rivervale to put it on display in their public park. And it sat there until very recently. And as part of the Navy 250 event happening in Philadelphia, we've been working on getting as many ships, as many important artifacts, as many Navy-related things brought here to the Camden, Philadelphia area to have on display for the 250th celebration, which starts on Thursday, October 9th. It's going to run until Thursday the 16th, when the ships leave the Philadelphia area that morning. And so the City of Rivervale, Navy History and Heritage Command, and Battleship New Jersey all worked together to bring this to a place where it could be on display and seen by the largest possible number of people. So now we have the largest remaining artifact of the aircraft carrier Enterprise here with her 20 battle stars, right alongside Battleship New Jersey, which earned 19 battle stars throughout her career. One of the very first activities of Fleet Week is happening on Thursday the 9th at 3 p.m. right here on the pier, and that is going to be the grand unveiling of the stern plate as a temporary display here at the battleship. The artifact was owned by Rivervale, and they transferred it over to Naval History and Heritage Command, who is the curator branch of the United States Navy. They run the Navy's museum system, and one of the museums that they have, one of their 10 museums, is the National Museum of the U.S. Navy, which is about to start construction in Washington, D.C., and they're expecting it's going to be open to the public around 2030. This is going to be like the Marine Corps Museum in Quantico or one of those other service-based museums, and the Navy's really the last ones to get on board with that concept. And when they do, this is going to go on display there. In the meantime, it's going to be on display here at the battleship until the Navy is ready for this object to go on display. It's a really great partnership. Rivervale didn't want it to go to the Navy to sit in a warehouse for 5 years. In Rivervale, it really wasn't seeing the sort of visitation that it could see at a dedicated Navy museum. And so all three entities working together has come up with the best possible solution, in my opinion, for displaying this object. Now, the two cool things about this sign. First off, in Rivervale, it was set up on some concrete pilings. We got some donations from some of our volunteers and also from Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Jack Taylor, the founder of Enterprise, served on the aircraft carrier as a fighter pilot during World War II, and that's where he came up with the name for his company. Anyway, they donated some of the money to help build this base for it to sit on. And now, unlike the old concrete pylons, one, you get a silhouette of the ship with their 20 battle stars, and two, it's a base that's actually movable, so we can put this on a truck and take it down to DC when it's time to go back to the Navy. The other thing we did is, in Rivervale, it was always displayed in the same haze gray camouflage as the Battleship, which is the peacetime camouflage of the Navy. Well, Enterprise's primary wartime camouflage was Measure 21, which is all over navy blue. It's the camouflage scheme that the Battleship wore when she earned the nickname the Black Dragon. Enterprise wears that throughout much of the war, including at the extreme end of the war. And so we worked with the Navy to come up with a system of coatings to repaint this to her wartime camouflage scheme, which we thought was more appropriate. In wartime, the letters would be the same color as the rest of it, so the name wasn't as visible. But right after the war, Enterprise, Missouri, a bunch of other Navy ships go to New York City for Fleet Week. They're still largely in their camouflage schemes, but they repaint the names on the ships. So this kind of depicts how it would have looked right at the end of World War II in October of 1945, when Enterprise went on display for the public right before she's eventually declared surplus, decommissioned, and scrapped. And so we're real excited to show this off for the next couple of years here at the museum. I'm real excited to have it. And you're, of course, invited to come out to the unveiling ceremony Thursday at 3 o'clock, October 9th, 2025, the opening day of the Navy's 250th birthday celebration week. What are some other Navy artifacts that you would put at the same level as this last surviving large piece of Enterprise? Let us know in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from a number of businesses and private individuals, including, for this display, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We really appreciate their support, and there's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate to support the museum. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about the museum and our channel. Thanks for watching.